Hello, Lady Gaga. My name is Derek. Welcome to my home. I am unhappy to hear that you're supporting some legislation that would make hate speech and bullying a crime because of the recent suicides that have happened. I, too, am affected by a young gay person killing himself, but I really don't think more laws is the answer. I was a part of an anti-bullying group that I helped found in my high school to help kids who felt like they needed a support group. There was also a GSA, Gay Straight Alliance, and kids just needed support from other voluntary students. And no amount of force on behalf of an administrator or the police can make people start to like gay people, you know? There are just people who are going to be bigots, and they're going to be nasty, and there are some people who are nice, and I think it's important to just be one of those nice people and show support for gays, and I think that's what you're trying to do by helping to pass the legislation. But I really need to point out what I'm sure you already know, that every new law has enforcement, and so you're introducing new guns into these people's worlds, into our world, when I think what we need are just more voluntary support groups. Encourage children to build a place in their high schools to be accepted. And in the first place, I think it needs to be underscored that the people who committed suicide felt like they were out of options. They felt like no one was listening to them, and that what they were doing every day was unbearable to them in that living situation. And where were they going every day? To public school. And it's just not fair. I mean, if you're going to talk to President Obama, please talk to him about how unfair it is to just throw a bunch of kids into some prison-looking building for 8 hours a day and feed them prison food and give them no time for lunch and force them together with these bullies that are harming them. This is not a good situation for anybody, and everybody knows that. Public schools are such a big problem for the young people, for the parents. It just is not a good living situation with dropping the kids off, them need to have some guardian at a certain time. Why force everyone into this mold where these kids are hurting? These children who killed themselves walked into school every day, because I've had the feeling, I can't say that, obviously I haven't killed myself, but there have been dark days in high school where you're walking in and you don't want to be there, and you feel it in the gut of your stomach. There are bullies and awful people around, but, you know, chin up, girl. You really just gotta have some support and support others, and instead of just, like, hoping that, oh, if Billy comes and says some nasty words to me, I'm going to be able to tell my principal, and then Billy's going to get in some kind of legal trouble? Are you kidding me? Lady Gaga, you don't want more people in legal trouble to fill up these prisons. The war on peaceful people ends when we just treat other people the way we want to be treated. So please, don't introduce new guns into this world in the form of legislation. Just encourage President Obama to stop forcing kids into these awful public schools that they have no choice about. Give people a choice where they want to spend their time and their money educating their children. I mean, do you think these parents wanted to keep sending their kids there? And even if they didn't stop sending their kid to that school, they would still have to keep paying for that awful institution. So, I mean, give that a thought while you're talking with President Obama about this bullying legislation. Give those kids an option out of public school. I've said enough. Thank you for joining me in my home, Lady Gaga, and I do hope you take my words to heart.